Uh,
So, is it okay if I ask you a few questions about God bumps?
yes.
Okay, so God bumps came from the word goosebumps, but they're more than just goosebumps. They're anything that you can feel, like chills or tingles, or even warmth or pressure, or things you can see like flashes of light,
Uh-huh.
you know, or maybe hearing things. I think if you hear voices, and so to group those all together, we just call them God bumps.
Okay.
So, what are your God bumps like?
Well, it seems like my God bumps are my mental rumination on different things, different
Mm-hmm.
areas of my life. In the course of my life, I've been a political activist. And so I didn't get into spiritual things or areas like this till I moved to California and opened to new possibilities. And Charles, my husband, was part of my opening.
Mm-hmm.
I was very involved in progressive politics when I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. I did civil rights marches
Mm-hmm.
and I did the women's radio show there. And so the God bumps would be like the inner voice
Mm-hmm.
talking to myself about different areas.
Okay.
And I find that by being around different groups of people who resonate with new thought has been a big help. So the group that I go to for my spiritual sustenance now is mainly Unity Temple,
Mm-hmm.
or we call it Spirit of Unity.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a rather traditional service in the sense that we sing hymns and songs. We have an agenda. We're in a circle, though. We don't do drumming. So that's where the Sisters of the Sacred Circle would come in,
Mm-hmm.
because they do drumming and they know more about these other areas. So I find by having mixed groups of people, and especially because I used to get that more from the Awareness Network,
Mm-hmm.
when I'd go over and learn about new ways of thinking about so many different areas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that would help bring on you you could say God bumps or the inner talk.
Okay, so when you're really getting some really good inner talk, what does that feel like emotionally?
Well, I like the fact that I'm open to going deeper in myself and having a conversation with myself about different areas, whether it's as time has gone on, Father's Day comes up, and then it's like, uh, what did my father mean to me? He was a difficult man, and then uh, it it brings up some uncomfortable feelings, and yet part of going to a new direction is that I've learned to forgive him
Mm-hmm.
um, for anything he did. He did the best he could, um, raising 4 kids, and my mother I got along well with, so I have pictures of them in my house. I have pictures of Charles. So a lot of ways, I'm seeing a physical image of someone gives me a kind of God bump.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like having them around. I have a picture of my mother right over my bed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
And
yeah. So yeah, that was one of my other questions is how can you get your God bumps going? And you just answered that through pictures.
through
Yeah.
pictures, yeah, that's a big thing. Also, I would say now with the new media, staying in touch with people through emails, Facebook a little bit. I'm able to have a wider reach. I didn't have children, so my nephew, his wife, and the two kids up in Portland, Oregon, they'll post pictures of their walks in nature, and then I will make comments and validate who they are. And here because of distance, there used to be a time when I've gone up and visited up there. The one that I'm most in touch with is my nephew Levi, who helps me out with gardening here. And we take some little like trips in Charles' van that I still have, and gone up the coast and looked at the whales and watched the birds. So that just really feels good, an activity together.
Yeah. So how often do you get these God bumps, these this inner talk?
Well, I think I do inner talk every day, because I'm every day I'm always, my saying always is what's next for Linda. So I have the opportunity to try some different things, meet new people. And so when people say to me, well, have you met anyone new? And then I all of a sudden I thought, well, no, I haven't been trying. I have a lot of fear, because they show, when sometimes you walk, there's a movie called Tinder Swindler. And it was a guy who had all these relationships going at the same time, and he was swindling women out of money.
Yeah.
And what was everyone looking for? Love, relationship. So there's the fear factor that I got to be careful. I feel more vulnerable, being older, single, and then wondering what's next, and being careful.
Yeah.
So
okay. So when did you first start getting God bumps?
well, it's definitely been since I've been out here in California. So since I've been older, nothing like that was happening when I was younger in Michigan.
Okay, so that's like what, 2 or 3 decades, something like that?
Yeah, I've been here. I got here in 1983. That's when I
Okay.
moved.
So
I moved from Michigan to California because my brother lives out here.
okay.
Now, my brother is not somebody who I really talk with this about. He's a lighting designer and very busy all the time, and kind of dismissive. So I would just say, my older sister Kay in San Antonio, Texas, now she's a Christian, she goes to church, and she's more open to talking about things. She's been married a couple times, has 2 kids. And it'd be interesting to ask her if she ever gets God bumps.
Yeah, you can do that. Let me know what she says.
I could send her your website there, because she's married now to a guy. He's very interesting. He's 84, and he just had a stroke. So as things like this happen, people close to you get ill or they die, it certainly opens you up to thinking deeper and more open. So
yeah. So how long do your God bumps last?
I would say they're just kind of a flash,
Fleeting, right? Yeah.
A fleeting insight.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So if I have an insight, in fact, I had an insight recently about Charles. You know, one of the things that brought us together is our interests in different areas of life. I have all these books. We read books. We join groups.
Mm-hmm.
We joined Toastmasters group, and we were in it 12 years together.
Mm-hmm.
So now that's one thing I miss about not having a partner, is when you have a partner, you share your inner feelings and what's going on.
Right.
So right now I'm having myself inner self-talk,
Right.
and maybe a little bit with my dog Lucy.
Okay, great. Okay, well, you answered all my questions about God bumps. You're definitely using them for guidance because you ask, hey, what's next for me? What's next for Linda? So you're using them for guidance, and so that's how you invoke them. What I call invoke them or manifest them. You can either look at pictures or you can just ask, questions. But